are due to domestic violence and mental health issues. But our police officers do not get the adequate training they need for mental health services. So until we see that change locally within Spokane County, our Spokane Police Department city, we will not remain complacent, and we will continue to take it out into the streets, and we will continue to engage in legislation until we see that change now. If you are not registered to vote, I have voter registration forms up here. Please, if we will see change, it will because we have come together, and it will be because when we leave, we do something else to engage our communities. It can't stop here, folks. Yes, we're here marching, but we have to get engaged. NAACP, he's the president of the NAACP here in Spokane, and he has been on the forefront of trying to engage our local community and local law enforcement and seeing that tangible change. All
right, so, you know, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be said. There's a lot of stuff that's already been said. There's a lot of stuff that's going to continue to be said. I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of tired of doing this. All right? I'm tired of our people being shot in the back. Can I hear something about that? Y'all sounded a little quiet about that. We can no longer afford to sit by while this continues to happen in our little bubbles of comfort and not do anything meaningful about it besides coming out here in March, because this is just one of the things that we need to continue to do. All right, so I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here today. We're going to move into some speakers. We're going to have a little bit of open mic. But the one thing I really want to emphasize is, number one, you know, I'm just going to be real with you. I'm tired of doing this. But like my brother said the other day, we can't afford not to. All right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because when we're not doing this, they're still shooting us in the back. They're still gunning us down at will. They are arresting us at will. They are ignoring their own at will. All right, and what has been going on for 400 years is still happening today. So we cannot afford not to do this. And one of the things I want to make sure that is emphasized is that we need to move out of this and continue to engage and lean into meaningful action beyond this, but with this. Can I get some of that? And there's always that one thing too, you know, and I am gonna fire this one off. You know, all lives matter is not rocket science, right? All lives matter is freaking obvious. All right. But what we have here in Spokane and what we have here across the country is that black and brown indigenous people other than the dominant culture, their lives haven't mattered as much as yours. Right? The next place that we need to go is the place that where Black Lives Matter. Let's say that one more time. Where Black Lives Matter is the preeminent foundation that we're launching from, not something that we're doing as an afterthought. We have to come out here and march about. So with that, I want you all to lift it up. Black Lives Matter! Let's go. Natasha, come on up.
For coming out. Like Curtis said, I know everyone here is tired. We've been through a lot this summer. We came out here months ago for George Floyd, and now we're back out here because of what we've seen again in the media, another public lynching, and we're back for Jacob Blake. We know this isn't just a national problem. This isn't just happening in other states. This is also happening here in Spokane. We have families who protest on a regular basis because their family member was shot by Spokane police or the sheriff's department. And our city officials are not doing enough, right? That's why we're here again, because we're not doing enough. What do we want from our city officials more than just an acknowledgement that we don't want the white militia to come down and police our protesters? We don't need that. But we still need more. We need more from our mayor. We need more from our police chief. We need more from our sheriff. They need to understand that when the data says and the statistics say that more Black lives are being lost, that more Native and Indigenous lives are being lost, when more people of color are being overcharged, whose lives are being ruined, they're being put into systems where there is white supremacy, meaning you have a different experience in these systems as a white person, however that gets defined. And unfortunately, we are not the ones defining it for ourselves. You have a different experience than the Black person will have, than a Native person will have. The data shows you're more likely to get arrested here if you're Black. It doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, because it's not just disproportionately Black and brown people who live in poverty. In our communities, it's a lot of white people, right? We're all there. We see each other. I come from Hilliard. I know what community looks like because we're one of the few that actually acts like a community in Spokane. We're not just trying to close you off and keep you out. We try to help you. We set up community centers wherever we can. Literally, wherever we can. You know, when you drive through Hilliard neighborhood, you see people in need, but you don't see what's behind it. There's labels, there's judgments, and it's unfair for poor people who are disproportionately Black and brown in this community. History tells us that we've been pushed into certain neighborhoods, that we've been denied access, and that we have a different experience. There's no hiding it. It's all over the media. The public lynchings that are being explained as suicides. The police misconduct that's not being properly investigated. These officers are committing crimes at their jobs. You know what happens if we commit a crime at our job? We get more than just fired, and we don't get paid while we're fired. We get denied benefits, and we face criminal prosecution, just like everyone else. Except if you're Black and brown, it's different. They treat you different. Your resources are different. And that's what we need to realize. We don't have equality just because the law says it's illegal to discriminate. When we say Black Lives Matter and they feel it's necessary to police our protests for militia who are not sanctioned in any way by the police, by the law, they may have the same rights we do to assemble, but the fact that they are offended that Black lives should matter as much as any other life is the problem. And it's in our systems, because our systems are police. The way they engage with those folks is different than the way they engage with us. And many of us know this firsthand. We want more. It's been months, and we've seen some good work by our city council, and they've been trying to help us send that message up the chain. We don't need officers dividing our communities any more than they already are because of racism. We don't need officers policing Black and brown bodies. These are not relationships that we need, especially with our youth. I do not support police in our schools. And that is one way that we defund the police and we reinvest those resources, especially now, when poor families are already facing discrimination from our school system because we can't go in person. It's distance learning. I know what it's like to not have $30 to pay the insurance on keep us from wanting to do more? Why do I have to work twice or 10 times as hard as my white counterpart to achieve less, to be paid less, to be told by white systems that my worth is less? You don't have to take my word for it. The data says it. We have to stop ignoring what we know, our own history. There's enough access online for people to educate themselves, to step outside your bubble, to get to know other people's experiences, so we can work together to make change. There is so much more that we have in common than we have as far as differences. We all want to live in a community that's safe, but if our police don't make it safer for everyone, that's not the right answer. And it's not a broken system. It was made this way. It was made for the benefit of some and to oppress others. The police have a job, and they've been given way more duties and authority than they ever were intended. And it can be changed. There's no excuse. There's no reason there can't be change. I want us to tell all of our city officials, the mayor, the police chief, the sheriff, our school board, we want more. We see a few steps in the right direction, but we want more. Find the organizations in your community that are supporting the change you want to see. Find a way to get involved. Donate money. It takes resources. It takes people power. It takes all of us as a community to come together. If you'll say it with me, what we want change. Say it with me. We want change. We want change, and we want it now. Thank you.
That's what's up. You know, we're demanding change. That's what this is really about. This is about having sustainable, meaningful, long-term change. And we're tired of asking. I am tired of coming to the master's table and begging for him to stop whipping on us. Because that's the reality that we're in. It's a 400 to 500 year reality just in the United States. And don't go any further than that, because frankly, that's bad enough. And with that, let's go ahead and hear from somebody from the audience. Somebody from the audience, come on up. Say your voice. Who are you? Who wants to come up here and talk for a minute? Anybody? Oh, we got a brother right here. Come on now. And just going to make you aware, you know, we're not, we're just going to ask you to make sure that you're respectful, okay? And as much as you can be. What's your name, brother? Jeff Cummings. Hey, all right, Mr. Cummings, good to see you. All right, Mr. Cummings, let it rip.
I just have a few thoughts. They're jumbled in my head. I'm going to try and get them out as best I can. But I want you to be aware of, as recently as 162 years ago, on the banks of this very river, not far upstream, the United States Army came and killed 800 ponies that belonged to the native people that lived right where we stand now. It's such a heinous crime, it even bothered the soldiers that were ordered to do it. And it condemned those people to poverty, it took their livelihood away, it took their power away, and that's the intention of it. And from there, we abused the Chinese that built the railroad tracks that bring all this around you. The Hispanic workers that pick our groceries, and I'm not even going to get into the people of color that we're here today about. This has gone on for so long, and it's gone on purpose, and it's systemic. But I want you to think about today that you are not alone, because all those people, all those exploited, abused, disenfranchised, tortured people, I believe are here today with you, shoulder to shoulder. I believe what you're doing is the pursuit of justice. I believe what you're doing is the most Christ-like thing you can do. I'm a Catholic, and I don't want to bring too much religion in this, but there's a saint that said, Christ has no hands but your hands. He has no feet but your feet and no eyes but your eyes. So I want you to think about this when you're out pursuing justice peacefully, doing Christ-like work, that where you stand and where you walk is hallowed ground in the pursuit of justice and the pursuit of peace. Because we can't have love, we can't have peace until we have justice. Black Lives Matter.
Thank you, Ted, coming. And there's that real emphasis too. So I want you all to take a minute and kind of process a little bit of what Ted just said. Right? Think about how many people have died. Just how many people have died on the planet so far? They've been buried. The molecules have disintegrated, right? They've been absorbed into the earth and into the atmosphere. We talked about this at the last protest, one of the last protests, that the ground that you walk on, the air that you breathe, the trees that you see, the animals are relatives, right? Those are our relatives. The animals around you, the things that you put in the earth, that you grow and take nutrients from. How many of those decomposed bodies have been sacrificed, have been beaten, brutalized, slaughtered? Think about that. You are literally walking, living, breathing, eating from the life and death of many, 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 not only black people, but on this continent, indigenous people who the mission was not to help them, not to save the savages. There wasn't these nice little quiet settlers coming in and, oh, we're going to go, welcome to America. No, they were occupiers. And we are all benefiting from that occupation in one way, shape, or another. We are all being impacted. It's not whether we're being impacted. Are you cognizant that you're impacted by it? Do you think about that when you get up in the morning? Do you think about that when you're making your bowl of cereal? Do you contemplate that when you're clicking on your television channels? Or when you're eating your hummus? All right, or drinking your juice? Who died? How did they die? So that you could do that today. I don't know about you, but that's why I'm out here. That's why we're here. Because that is not over yet. They're still cutting us down. I've got some statistics for you. I'm going to save it, but I want you to rest in that reality. I want that to kind of marinate on you for a minute. What happened in this country? What happened on this land? Do you even know? You're darn right, Black Lives Matter. Come on, Angel.
Thank you, Curtis. My name is Angel Tomio Sam. I'm born and raised in Spokane. I'm a Hilliard girl too. I am a bail disruptor for the Bail Project here in Spokane. The Spokane site, we're the 11th site of like 22, 23 sites now. We are doing our best to end mass incarceration, end cash bail, change pretrial detention as it stands, as it is really, really oppressive to our community, all communities. I was asked to come up here and speak. I am an Indigenous woman. I'm enrolled in the Colville tribe. I'm also a descendant of the Assiniboine Sioux and Quinault Indian Nations. I'm here with my child, who, you know, we have taken on the charge here as a family, you know, as a community. So I just really wanted to kind of come out here first of all and offer a prayer. So if you could just kind of join in your way, meditate on the words or the pictures that come into your mind Think about why you're here. Find that place that you've been that's peaceful, that is powerful, because that's what we need. Come from that place of love, because I know for me, when I talk with and I talk to my Creator, you know, it comes from a place of love, and I'm shown love in return. So, Kuska means we will pray. Kolun chu'un yunkan milf pi yat iskos. Creator, bless our people. Us tumala and the world. Us tumix and the animals. Us ishinlet net mirim's kan and the food and the medicines. Us use and the water. Takskuska, for this we pray. For this we all pray. I wanted to, just kind of talk about, my community, my family, myself, why it is that I support Black Lives Matter. I'm an Indigenous person, and oftentimes I run across so many of us who seem to think that there's some sort of division, that there's some sort of separation in what it means to support Black Lives Matter, to support Black lives, to support changing the way that we treat our Black and brown brothers and sisters. And there's not. In my life, I've seen, I come from a family, I'm number 11 out of 12, and I come from, family who were there during the civil rights movement, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for all of those who laid the groundwork for this kind of social justice, for this kind of spirit to be born into each and every one of us, because I don't really feel like, it's a political thing, that it's really about people, it's about humanity, it's about, loving our communities and wanting something different, wanting something better, wanting something for everybody. I want to, I was thinking, I had some thoughts and I wrote them down, and one of the thoughts that came to mind said, there's really no one or two true leaders of the movement, and I'm talking about the Black Lives Movement. What we're trying to do is we're looking for a more just policy change, and we're looking past politicians, and we're looking to push for change. We see this fight, and I'm talking about organizers, activists, I'm talking about, and everybody here. I'm so grateful to see all these faces, because everybody here has that element inside of them to organize, to activate, to advocate, to say there's something wrong and there's something that I have to do to change that. Something that I have to push, something that I have to, go out and hold and carry the weight of this, because this is heavy. I'm thinking about, a few months ago when we all marched for George Floyd here in Spokane, and then for every single demonstration thereafter, and now, we have these counter protesters who want to be mad because, we want to support Black lives, because we want to say defund police and invest in the divested, because we want to say no more killing of our own citizens here in Spokane. I've had the honor to meet folks who've been affected right here in our own city. Families of Joshua Spotted Horse, families of Eagle Michael, the family and community of Plando Anatok, the mom and the aunt and the sister and the dad to David Novak. There's a mom who every month on the 7th stands in front of the courthouse wanting justice for her son. Join her. So, I just want to re-emphasize that, I think about Black Lives Matter, and I think about why I support it and why I think other people should, why I include my children, because, in my own household, I have Black children, I have Indigenous children, I have a trans child, I have trauma, where I say me too, and I say end mass incarceration, I say free mothers, I free my brothers, end mass incarceration, stand up for our gay, lesbian, bi, and trans communities. They have rights too. Stand up for our elders, stand up for Indigenous lives, stand up for the Asian Pacific Islander communities. We stepped into this time of COVID and look at the communities that are most affected. I was looking at national statistics at one point, and a young Black man who will be killed by police in America, it matched the statistics of a young Black man who will die from COVID-19. They're all connected. This isn't just about police brutality, but that's what it is. That's why we're here. Too much power to a system that doesn't care for its community, for its society, built to chase down runaway slaves and runaway Indians, to a system built to oppress and to match the National Guard during civil rights movements and unrest. A system created and reinforced because there was this war on drugs, and I hate to break it to these systems, but guess what? Drugs are winning. We need to change that. When I say defund police and I say invest in the divested, that's what I mean. It's a really small way of thinking to think that we're gonna not be able to have peace, protection, security in our cities. Before, I know in my culture, and I'm from this land, I have ancestors whose blood were shed here. And I just really want to, emphasize this movement to take care of our communities. It's all encompassing. We have to think about, folks with mental health disabilities and illnesses and behavioral health, drug addiction, people who are unhoused, people who I have a son who's autistic, and I think about autism. He wanted a candy bar. Who was equipped to come and talk to this young man and say, no, it's okay. We're not having rashes of nurses and social workers and teachers killing black and brown people. We're not. Why is it police? We need to change something. So, I started this, what I was going to say, I wasn't really sure, but, I really feel like I need to interject, like, whatever is powerful within us. And that's unity. So if you're here standing for LGBTQ+, say something. Raise your hand, raise your voice. If you're here standing up for Indigenous communities, raise your hand, raise your voice. If you're here to protect your children and raise them up right and make sure that they have truth and equity in their lives, say something, raise your hand, say something. If you're here to defund police and invest in the divested, raise your hand and say something right now. There is power in that. I'm going to tell you what, if we could all just stick together, if we could all just stand up for each other and stand up for these demonstrations. Spend the weekend, spend some time in the day. Tuesday the 7th, let's go support the Novaks. Let's raise money for these children who can't afford, these families who can't afford a $30 fee for equipment, for technology. I was thinking about that. Racism is on all sides. So I'm thinking about the power behind that, the latitude of that. And that system knows it. If we all stuck together, if we all raised our fists and our voices all at the same time, man, let's do it.
Do you have something to say, sir? Okay. Briefly, please.
Yes, I'll keep it short. My name is Ernst Schluber. I'm a Port Lane travel member, retired steel worker. And I just wanted to say something about my 4th grade teacher. First day she came in the classroom, I'd sat down in the front row in the center. She come walking in this classroom of all white kids except me. She made me get up out of that chair, go sit in, up off that desk and go sit in a chair against the wall in the back, and had my blonde-haired, blue-eyed friend take that seat. And all the kids were laughing and stuff, and I had no idea why, but this was 10 years after Rosa Parks. This was, except this time it was happening to an Indian kid in grade school up on the Washington Coast. And when I first moved here just over 40 years ago, right on this intersection, right up here, on this first intersection north of here, I was on that street corner, and some white people walked up to me and called me a stinking hippie Indian, and told me to go back to the reservation where I belong. And this is how I've been treated in every school, workplace, and public my entire life, and I'm sick of it. You can't go anywhere and do anything without some kind of personal attack or put downs. And I really appreciate all the people being here, because I personally, in my younger days, would never think that this many people would stand up against racism. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move everybody to keep this moving here. We're going to go ahead and do got a little quick statement here, and then a song, and then my brother Zaxion's going to come on up.
Hi there, I'm Isaiah. That's not the name that's important right now. One of my best friends, just before the first protest happened, wrote a song, and he wrote it in 15 minutes. It was based strictly off his feelings. One of the most amazing songs, but he produced it so well. I also want to give a big shout out to the producers with us as well. Okay. On the chorus, her name is J-A-E. It was produced by Colin Reckner and A Gold Soul G. So let's take a moment and just listen to this and put his heart and soul into this.
There's no peace, and my people still dying from these crooked ass police. Hands up, don't shoot. Badge in a suit, cop said he had a gun, but he ain't got no proof. Peaceful protest turning violent with the quickness. They must be disturbed, coming down with the sickness. Police ain't how I get this. We gotta stand tall and we gotta rise up, cause they wanna see us fall. Straight to numbers, trying to unify the nation and keep it all together for the future generations. MLK, Malcolm X, Bobby C, Newton, yeah, they all get the way to them. Making changes on the rise, this is coming no surprise. Now put your fists to the sky, hold it up high. I can't breathe, I need water, please. George Floyd's last words, now he's gone like the breeze. Serve and protect, that's something I can't respect, cause we all see how you had your knee to his neck. This shot's very long, very pounds of course.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, brother. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right right there. Jackio, where you at, man? Let's give it up for, and we always want to do that, right? We want to make sure we're smart, so, you know what I'm saying? Because here's what's up, is they keep trying to take all that stuff away from us. It's all right to breathe. It's all right to sing. It's all right to love. It's all right to live. And that's the one thing they don't want us to do, and those are the very things we will fight for our right to do. Because our lives matter just as much as theirs. Black lives matter. Give it up for my brother Jackson, the big step.
I don't know what I can say to you today that make you know the significance of the time that we're in right now. But I want to address the elephant in the room. There was threats made about people protesting. These threats were effective in a way and resulted in intimidation of some of my elders. Some of my elders are not here today. Black men and black women, because they felt intimidated, they felt they wouldn't be safe. So what I want to say to those that make those type of threats, bring it to me. Bring it to me. Bring it to me. You'll get what you put up for. The sister Natasha here spoke so eloquently and directly about systems. I just want to, if I can, piggyback on what she said as far as systems. I just did 22 years in the system. I was never supposed to get out. 22 years behind the walls. And racism is live and rampant. It's pushed every day. You have policies that are created that affect black men differently than they affect white men in your system. Just like you have laws that are rooted in the black codes. You have laws that is rooted in Jim Crow. Laws that are rooted in racism that's affecting black men and black women more than it's affecting everybody else. Now, I'm not a politician, and I don't got no pretty words for you, and I don't have the science of politics, but I know one thing. I'm tired of watching black men get shot down in the back. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of the discrimination that any group suffers from
because you don't understand their position or their ideology or philosophy. I'm tired of that. And I'm tired of these cats, these weak-ass cats, hiding behind this militia, hiding behind these face masks, hiding behind these dark clothing, hiding behind these little activities that they're engaged in. Come out in the open. Come out in the open. Talk to me like a man, and if we can't sell it like a man, let's get right down to that gangster stuff. Because that's where it's at now. We're here not for peace. I'm not here for peace. I'm here for nonviolence. I don't want no violence, but to hell with peace. There can be no peace until we get a peace. One of the brothers came up here and said that there can be no justice without peace. There can be no peace without justice. But what he didn't tell you is there can be no justice without truth. Somebody got to start telling the truth about what's happening with us. We got to quit playing these games, man. We got to quit self-shooting. We got to quit tiptoeing. We got to quit bending where we ain't supposed to bend. We got to quit scratching where we don't itch. We got to quit showing our damn teeth when we ain't happy. We need some grit. We need some grit. And I need some black men to bring their backsides out of the house and quit being scared of these busters and start doing something for these youth around here. That's what I need. In conclusion, I hope that everyone here today knows the import of the dispensation of time that we're in right now. And you will keep applying the pressure to the psychological malady of white supremacy until we break the back and end all of it. It can no longer live. There can never be peace as long as white supremacy rules the day. There can never be peace as long as people are getting benefits of a system that is breaking the backs of my people. There can never be peace until then. And it won't be peace. Not in my heart and not in your land. It ain't gonna be no peace until we get a peace. Mr. Maxson, come on out. Introduce you, Mason Maxson. Give it up for Mason.
Here we are again. We shouldn't have to be here. We should never have to be here. But here we are. The best thing about this community is I want everyone to look around. Look at all the different faces, the different colors, different religions. Everyone here has a message and they need to get it out, and we won't sit down, we won't stop until that message does get out. When I was driving on my way here, one of the things that kind of kicked off a lot of these race relations is Colin Kaepernick. And now he's been considered close to Muhammad Ali for what he did. He lost everything. He lost his career. You have Jacob Blake who lost his leg. Woke up, and the kids asked him, Daddy, why'd they shoot you? You can't really give him an answer besides, because I'm black. It should never have to be about that. They should never have to wake up and ask what happened to my daddy. Why can't I spend as much time with him while he sits in the hospital recovering, chained to the bed? It should never have to be about that. And I also want to point out, when we stand out here today, we will always stand out here today. Every time it happens, we'll show up. That's the best part about our community. We have our own. We have the facts of our own. We always have and we always will. There might be another week this happens. We'll be here every single time. The other thing, when I was driving, I was thinking about the Pledge of Allegiance, how it ends with,
for liberty and justice for all, right? We fought for 200 years for liberty, and now we're fighting for justice. We should never have to take another 200 years, and it won't. We're gonna let it. That's how it goes. I'll keep it short and simple and end with this. Black Lives Matter, everybody.
Before we go ahead and close it out, so I just want to make you all aware we are going to march here in just a minute. We're going to go ahead and have Dustin come up real quick and talk about that, and then we're going to close it out and get moving. All right, Dustin, come on up.
Before we get moving, this isn't just a national issue. Spokane Police Department is the 5th deadliest police department in the United States of America. Tyler Rambo, a local case out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, was shot 14 times and lost both of his legs. He is 18 years old. His mom is here, and she will be speaking to you all today. She will be, yes, give her a round of applause. She has a big heart, and she is fighting for her son until he is free. So I asked every one of you while we're marching, do not engage hate. We are not here to hate. We will drive that hate out with life and life. Woo! This is going to go ahead and start up. We'll have the Taxion and Ed Step with their banner leading the march. We'll be marching across Monroe Street Bridge, taking our fight to the county courthouse. We will march around the county courthouse and loop back around across Washington. We will come around this corner here and come down, and we will take our fight to the city hall. Woo! If you don't have anything to march, please get into the city hall. Are you ready to march? We're ready to march. Let me hear you. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
All right, that's what's up. So there's a route, there's a plan, and we're going to get to it. And I'm just going to say a few things before we get moving. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and getting ready.